and welcome to the Squad Podcast. I'm your girl, Crystal.
I'm Risa.
And I'm John.
And I'm Brendan.
And this is The Squad.
But before we get started, please make sure that you like, you comment, and you subscribe to the YouTube channel, alright?
Alright, so let's just jump into it. Tonight, we're going to be talking about healing from your past. That is like the biggest issue that leads to so many other issues in people's lives. So, I don't know. I got a question for y'all. So, what do you think healing is? Like, in your language, in your verbiage, what is healing?
That's a good question. I don't know. For me, I think healing is acceptance. It's like a form of acceptance. It's not forgetting. It's not forgetting what you've been through. It's understanding and accepting what you've been through, so that way you move forward and you recognize it again and understand how to move forward from it again if it happens.
I like that. What about you, Brandon? What do you think healing is?
Healing to me is basically a process of the mind.
Okay.
Because many times I think what we get confused with healing, we think healing is forgetting. But in most essence, the hard part is that, like you said, accepting the fact that, something so painful disrupted my psyche. Because actually healing is something that is mental, not something that is physical.
Right.
It's something that is emotional, because if you really look at it, there's really no cure for pain.
True.
Except for time.
True.
Yeah.
So it all depends on the construct of how you really view healing and what you're trying to be healed from. Because, like I stated, most people, I think they think healing is forgetting, but forgetting it just numbs the pain, temporarily. But when you are really dealing with some kind of pain, it takes a lot for you to really get over that.
Yeah.
So I say it's just a process that we're going through.
Okay, so we got acceptance, we got a process. Blue Thing, what about you?
Who? I don't know. I have to say about my healing or healing, being able to move on. Because if you're not fully healed, you gotta think about it.
Yeah.
If you're trying to move on to something, different than what you had, and you're not completely healed, how can you, give this person or really give this person your all if you're not fully healed?
That's true.
Yeah.
Okay, so
That's true.
acceptance, process, healing. For me, I think healing is an internal and an external thing.
Yeah.
I say it's both. I say internal mostly because, like what Brendan said, it is a mental thing. And it can send somebody into like a mental psychosis meltdown completely. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And if you're not healed on the inside, there's no way that anybody can look at you and see the blessing of healing on you. You know what I'm saying? So for me, I think it is internal. It starts internally, but then it exudes externally.
Yeah.
If that makes sense. I don't know. I think people kind of stray away from really talking about healing because it can be a tough subject, especially for those people who have not healed.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So for me, when I encounter people that have not accepted it or have not processed through it or, have not moved on from it. And like we said, people a lot of times they look at it as forgetting. Nah, baby, I ain't gonna forget nothing. Because that's the lesson. You know what I'm saying? But for me, it's just kind of like, okay, accept it, process it, move on from it, internal, external. And now I'm looking at people that I know personally need to heal. I'm like, why not go through the process?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
It's hard to go through the process sometimes.
Yeah.
Because if you're anything like me, I'm the type of person that like to skip the process. I like to skip the hard part.
You just want to get to the finish line.
Just let me get on over there,
Right?
so that I can feel better tomorrow. That's just me. But then I look at like grief, for example. Like when you're grieving someone or you're grieving something, because sometimes grief is not just with someone. When you're grieving, you just want to go ahead and not feel that pain anymore. And sometimes I think we coincide healing with just like mental, or we do it internally, but there are physical aspects to healing, because have you ever been hurt so bad that you feel it in your bones, where you get depressed, where you don't eat or you don't sleep or you don't feel like doing anything and you're literally hurting, your body is hurting, your body is feeling that trauma response from whatever you're going through. And again, for me, I like to skip all of that because I don't want to deal with it. Like, we talking to God, like, can we skip that part and go on over to healing tomorrow? Because I'm trying to feel better tomorrow, because I'm the type that like to skip it. I go to work, I do things that to cover up the hurt and pain because I don't like to sit in it.
Yeah.
But
that's the whole process of accepting.
Accepting.
The process of healing.
Yeah.
Right.
That's the biggest thing I think everyone goes through. They don't want to accept it. When you don't accept it, then you just trying to shield it, trying to hide it, trying to just cope with it now.
Cope with it. Find coping mechanisms in drinking and, pleasure and other, aspects. And you try to cover it up, you know what I'm saying? So, there's ways.
I guess the question is coping accepting?
I don't think it is.
I don't think coping is accepting.
I don't think it is.
So,
I think coping is kind of like putting a Band-Aid on a wound that hasn't healed. And eventually the Band-Aid wears down and you have to deal with that issue that is there.
right. So with all that being said, so is accepting even a factor? Because if all we're doing is accepting the fact that something went wrong, we're not going to forget that we accepted something.
Right.
But now we're going to water down the fact that it has happened, and now we're coping.
Yeah.
So in essence, accepting kind of makes the process even more strenuous. Because we still have to deal with the situation of it happened. And then now we got to deal with the effects of what coping is now doing with us. Because we have accepted something that has hurt us and that we can't move on from.
Yeah.
So now I'm accepting the fact that you hurt me, but how am I going to deal with it?
It's big facts.
So now you hurt me, I'm coping, I'm going to start drinking, I'm going to start smoking, I'm going to start going to the club, trying to, do all this and do all that. But there's side effects to coping.
Yeah.
Right.
So now,
That could be worse.
after the coping, now I got to deal with the side effects. Like, oh, you still hurt me. And now I got to deal with the side effects of coping. Like, dang, now my health is going down. Now this is happening. Because if you really look at the definition of healing, healing means to bring back to good health again.
So in that process, you're also losing yourself.
You're also losing yourself.
So I guess it depends on what process you take.
Yeah.
So it's like, okay, if you go through the process of healthy healing, then coping isn't a factor, because then you're taking steps into getting to the healthy version of yourself. So like maybe going to therapy or seeking God more or going to church or whatever you feel like your coping mechanism could be, depending on what area you take in your healing process.
A positive outlook.
Right. So you can have a negative outlook or you can have a positive one. So it just depends on which one, because it depends on what your version of acceptance look like.
Yeah.
Because accepting it is good.
Yeah.
But it's what you do after accepting.
Right. I think it's like acceptance is like the first step. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because I've talked to people, I've had friends, even myself, being hurt. And, I'm talking about being hurt deeply. And then all of a sudden, I'm like, okay, I accept it. That's the first step. You did it. But what if someone never accepts the fact that they're hurt or they have been hurt, but they want to go through the healing process? You know what I'm saying? That's just like kind of exiting out that something really happened to you. And then here comes the coping. I'm drinking, I'm partying. And I ain't even gonna lie to you. I can speak for myself. There have been times where I had to go through a healing process because something big has happened to me in a relationship, in life, in marriage. Not with this boo thing, but yes, in certain situations where I gotta put it out there, y'all. It's mine. I had to heal, but because I never accepted it, I then became an enabler.
Yeah. Yeah.
And the process of healing was was like backtracking
Mm-hmm.
and backtracking.
Yeah.
And oh, well, it was okay, you know, it made me a stronger person. Okay, it made me a stronger person. But baby, you need to accept what you went through.
Yeah.
It's not a bad thing when things happen to you. It does not make you a bad person. What it does is it opens your eyes into this new, beautiful person that you can become.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So that's why I always ask people who are so stuck on, well, he did this and she did that to me, and my mama did this in the past, and my grandma did this, and my daddy did it, whoop-de-whoop-de-whoop. Okay, boo thing, I hear you.
Yeah.
But why not go through the healing part? Why do you want to be stuck in that?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Because accepting something makes you look at yourself
It does.
in a perspective
Mhm.
that you didn't see yourself in the beginning.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So it kind of makes it feel like I have a weakness that I didn't know about.
Mm.
And it's
I have a
sometimes people like to play victim
Yes.
too sometimes.
Yes.
And I'm not
That's
taking
big-
away
that's
from
big.
people
Mhm.
that go through
have been
things.
victimized.
But it's so they like the feeling of being victimized.
victim, yeah.
And that goes back to what you were saying, like that victim mindset to where it's like, okay, they did that. But also like, okay, let's look at me internally. Now there are some situations where there are things that do happen to people that you are not able to control. And you are literally a victim of that.
Right.
Yeah.
We're speaking on people who have done things
Right.
and then in return get things done back to them, and then it's like, oh well, they did that to
Those
me,
are
but
the
you're
worst
not
times.
looking
Right.
back. So now I got to heal from this. Oh, I'm in my healing era. I'm in my healing journey, and then you're still doing the same
Right.
things.
You become a
Right.
victim.
So it's like, are you really healing, or are you making it a hashtag for Facebook?
Right. Like you hashtagging self-love, healing
Self-care.
process.
I'm in my bed.
I'm in my era. This is my
Yeah.
season,
This
boo.
my
This
new
the
me.
new me.
This is my new me.
I know, right?
Like, I'm in the gym getting my squats. Okay, sis.
And
Well,
3
that's
weeks later, you at home eating little Debbie cakes. Like, are you still healing?
Or
boo?
you
Like,
still
what's
doing
up?
the same things that you've been doing just because you're in the gym and don't go away.
But see that final step though, when you get to it,
Yeah.
is that self-reflection.
Self-reflection.
On everything that's like all the way going from the start of your acceptance to trying to cope with it, to try to, I guess, how can I say it, babe? What we did, when we were talking about it.
What, processing?
And just
moving
processing the whole,
through it.
and then that self-reflection come like, why did I do this?
Mm-hmm.
That conscious kicking you real quick.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, that's what self-reflection is. So you look back,
Mm-hmm.
you assess, you analyze, and you say, okay, now that I know what I went through, what can I do differently so this does not happen to me
The
again?
word that comes to me is accountability.
Accountability.
How can I take accountability for my actions
Right.
in this situation in order for me to heal from this situation, in order to move forward, so that way when I do see this and it's presented to me again, because let's not forget, God is going to test you again.
Oh, yeah.
To see if this is going to happen again and if you're going to learn from your mistakes. So you keep screaming out, oh, I keep getting this same man. I'm talking to myself. You keep doing so-and-so. Keep doing so-and-so. But have you taken accountability for your actions for what you have done? So are you really on a healing journey? Or are you just saying, hey, are you just saying, hey, I want to heal. I'm on my healing journey. I'm just trying to, So accountability, there's a big step. And I feel like there isn't a set step in how you heal. Sometimes you go backwards. Sometimes you're angry. Sometimes you're feeling victimized. Sometimes you're feeling upset. And then you go back to the acceptance. Acceptance may happen once. Sometimes it may happen twice. Just depending on what the situation is. So I feel like healing is a process.
And it's crazy that you said, I'm talking to myself.
Yeah.
Girl, I had to do that.
Yeah.
Yes, you have to talk to yourself, right?
Yeah, because girl, what?
What? Okay.
What?
Like, you'll be sitting there looking at yourself and yourself say, huh? Like, I know, like Mr. Brown say, myself say, huh? Like, real talk. You have to talk yourself through these things.
Yeah.
And I mean, you have to literally go back.
You gotta talk to them.
Really? You do have to talk yourself through some
We gotta
stuff.
motivate
That's
ourselves.
why y'all got to get kicked out the squad. No, but like seriously, you have to talk to yourself through these things because, and you have to go back and look. Like, I mean, even now, just thinking about the whole part, like when you said, I keep attracting the same man.
Yeah.
That was me.
Yeah.
Before I met him, that was me. I was always going after the little thug boys that was in church. PK problems, you know. Okay, going after the thug boys, don't laugh. Going after the thug boys that were in church, that knew how to sing, the good old hymns, but couldn't tell me the first book of the Bible and stuff like that. And then I was don't you start. I was always going after those light-skinned pretty boys that I knew were getting me in trouble. Yeah. And here I go. I gotta go through the healing process. You know what? Y'all made me sick. I had to go through the healing process and say, okay, let me talk to myself. Okay, Crystal, what are you doing?
Yeah.
You really gotta check yourself, boo. Like, you keep doing this over and over again, and the results keep being the same. So I'm gonna tell you like my mama tells me, if the common denominator is you, then baby,
it's you.
You gotta fix you.
But here's the thing too with that. Are you ready for it?
You gotta be.
Are you mentally ready for it? Because not even just in a man situation, we keep praying for this job. We keep praying for a man, of course. We keep praying for more money. We keep praying for all of this other stuff. But are you really ready for it?
Right.
Because, or do you like where you are? So it's like, oh, okay, I like the attention that I'm getting from this type of man. I like that attention, so I'm okay where I'm at. But I do want to be married. I do want to have kids, but I like this attention. So am I really ready for it, and I'm really prepared? Have I healed myself in order to say, okay, I don't like this. I need self-reflection in order for me to move forward.
But you know what the thing about healing, now I understand why people don't like to accept healing. It's uncomfortable.
It's so uncomfortable.
We get to a place where you're just so comfortable. I got my pillow. And
I like this.
Luckily, I love this place. It's so comfortable. Girl, you keep getting hit upside the head with the devil coming at you from the left and right. But it's so comfortable. I just want to stay here, girl. If you don't get up and go to this uncomfortable place so you can get to the newness of you. You know what I'm saying?
That's the way people look at it in the world, though. If it was easy, everybody can go through it.
I know that's right. Yeah, definitely.
That's a saying. I mean, I'm gonna stick to that. If it was easy, everybody do. Like, getting yourself ready for the gym. If she can do it, I can do it. He can do it, I can do it. Me personally, like I said this right now, you're never ready.
Never.
You gotta get yourself in that mental stage to get ready.
Absolutely.
I think the main thing is the fear of the unknown. They're not really ready to embrace what's going to happen next because they feel like, if it happened this time,
it's gonna happen again.
It's gonna happen again.
It's gonna happen again. And then it's gonna happen again. But it's something that you're not doing in the middle of the process. Because if you're coming out with the same results, then it's something that is in the middle that is the problem. It's not the beginning because it's already not happening.
Right.
It's not the ending because the result of the end is going to determine what happens in the middle. So you got to figure out what you're doing during your healing process that is causing you to get those same results to where you're still, in that continuous cycle. To the point to where you're still dealing with the same people that you're saying that you not trying to deal with, or you're still going to the same places that you're saying you're not trying to go through. Like, is your circle still the same, or you still leaning on the same people that gave you the advice that you came out the last time?
Right.
It's a lot of stuff that in the middle that has to change in order for you to get the end result that you're looking for.
You gotta look at it like some people gotta look at it that ending part. Look at it as like the ocean. You never see the end of it.
Never see the
end
of it.
So you want to venture out and see what's out there. But like she still said, I'm gonna piggyback off that uncomfortable position. It gotta be uncomfortable for you to understand exactly how to heal, how to accept it. There you go.
It's kind of like I thought about, when you buy a house, right? So I bought my first house when I was like 21, 22. You know what I'm saying? Don't clap at me because this is a story for you. Okay? But thank you. I bought my first house when I was like 21, 22. I was a newlywed, married to, bless his heart and all his parts anyways. But yeah, so I bought this house and, I was like, okay, you go through the process, you got to get the inspection and all that stuff. I'm going to take care of this house, boom, 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 boom. Young, dumb, full of, Anyway, so I am... Right? I know, right? I am in the process. I'm paying the note and all the stuff. But when you're 21, 22, how many 21, 22-year-olds that actually keep up with their payments at the time, right? Okay, so the house get foreclosed on. You know what I'm saying? So, okay, years down the line, I'm like, okay, God, I'm ready for another house. I remember what I did this last time. I'm not going to do it again. But that's what I get back to saying. It's like foreclosing on a house. You go through the foreclosure. You recognize why you lost this.
Yeah.
What did I do? Did I not pay my bills? Did I put my money on my shoes, heels, clothes, all of that stuff versus paying my bills first?
Right.
Okay. Was I tithing? And I know people real, whatever, sanctified, holified about tithing, whatever, whoop-de-whoop. Tithing, listen, let me just insert this right here. Tithing is not just money, people, okay? It is your gift servicing the Lord. Okay, anyways, back to it. But I was not tithing. I was not giving God my all. I was not doing what I was supposed to do. I was in the club, twerking it, dropping it like it was hot, boom, boom, whatever. So the house got foreclosed on. Yeah, I was, baby. I could twerk. But when your focus is on accepting and realizing what you did wrong the first time, you will quickly, most of the time, when you're spiritually, mentally, emotionally mature enough, you will quickly say, I ain't gonna do that no more. That crap hurt. I know what that feels like. I don't want to do that no more. I mean, because like you said in the beginning, there's so many different sides of healing.
Yeah.
Saying no.
Healing, saying no is gonna be your weapon, but healing from financial situations, healing from sexual situations, healing from emotional, healing from mental. Yeah. Healing is just this monster that we don't want to talk about.
Like another thing too that I thought about is the word trust. So like, and I only speak from experience. So like when I was talking to my therapist, one thing that I said to her was like, I feel like I'm in this ongoing constant battle with trusting God, right? When I trust God, that's a reflection of me trusting myself. Yeah. So if I can't trust God, then I can't trust myself in these certain situations. Wow. So when I'm not trusting Him and I'm not trusting myself, I fall back into what's comfortable. Yeah. So that's also a part of the healing phase too, is being able to recognize where your flaws are. Because you can't start from just like, oh, I'm just going to start from where I got hurt. No, I need to recognize the hurt. I need to recognize what my flaws are to why I keep going back to the hurt and recognize how I need to change to move forward to heal from it.
Recognize those triggers.
Yeah.
It's some triggers too. Big time triggers that, and oftentimes we don't even look at them as triggers. We look at them as it is what it is. It happened again. Okay, here I am. Yeah. And it's really a trigger. And it triggers you going back to where you started, which is okay, but still, if you know, but if you know where it starts and you know what hurts the most, you will accept it and just, move on from it or whatever. Absolutely. So I got a question. We digging deep, right?
How deep we dig?
I want you to go into your, no, I'm just kidding. I want us all to share. I mean, you ain't gotta go like into deep details because men don't like to cry and things like that, but it's okay. But I want y'all to like think about. You better be prepared. I want y'all to think about a time where you really had to accept the healing process.
I don't know if I'm gonna go that deep.
You ain't gotta go to a deep healing process. You know what I'm saying? But like, I mean, it could be something minor that you had to heal from.
I go. I mean, mine pretty much is.
Don't do it.
It's deep.
You gonna make me cry.
Mine is like childhood. My mother. I put it out. My mother. We had a difficult relationship, when I was young. The deepest I can go when I was 5. I'm 36 now. When I was 5.
Don't call my man.
I feel bad, bro. I'm 32, so.
You're not gonna.
You're not gonna.
I have to say, when I was 5, my sister and my dad got into it. She's 4 years older than me. My mom came to pick her up. I'm thinking that they arguing, we're arguing. I'm just in the middle, just looking like who do I pick? So my sister get in the car, and I have my toys in a bag instead of clothes, and I'm standing in the driveway, and I was like, you gonna take me too, right? And she said no, and you know, for a child to hear the word no from a parent, like, I'm not going to take you, but I'm going to take your sister. That doesn't just affect the outer image of me, but it really internally hurt me to the point that I almost grew a hate for her.
Yeah.
But when I went in the house, I asked my daddy these words as she backed out and left. And this made a grown man, this is my first of many times seeing a grown man cry. I asked him these questions. I said, why don't you want me? And he didn't have an answer. And that pain that I had to endure for so many years, and the only way I was able to see my mom like I wanted to, I had to grow my hair out to go get it done by her. So the healing process was like, it wasn't rapid at all. It was a slow process, like a slow burn that would never be put out. And finally, the age of 32, I asked my mom this question. I said, back when I was 5, why did you leave me there? And it took her a day. She left, went in her room, and stayed in there, and I came back. She said, I'm ready to talk and tell you why. She said, I wasn't able to raise a boy to a man, and your dad was able to do that. And that process, from that day, erased from 5 all the way to 32. Like, I was like, I see you as a new mom now. Yeah. I see you as my mother that was nurturing me when I was a baby. Now I really, you know, I'm accepting now why you did what you did. And I'm processing everything now slowly. But like the bond we have now is unbreakable. Like, you cannot break that bond that we have now. I call my mom every day after I leave the gym. And every night when I get home from work, she want to make sure her son gets home. So,
yeah, and I think the most damaging part is the mindset of when the hurt happens, because we don't really know why people hurt us.
No, we don't.
Yeah,
we really don't.
But then when we actually sit down and try to figure out the reason why, it'd be like, dog, you hurt me to help me. Because if you never would have left me with my dad, I probably wouldn't be the man I was today.
No, I wouldn't have.
You know what I'm saying? You probably would have feminine traits and all this stuff. And now this, she.
You too big to be talking about.
But she knew what you needed. Even though she didn't know how to explain it to you at that time. But she knew what you needed. To become the man you are now. Because when you look back, you be like, shit. If I would have went with her, I ain't gonna tell them what I would have been doing.
Right.
You probably wouldn't have been playing the sports that you play. And I mean, even though your mom is very, OG, triple OG.
True.
Okay, she is very athletic and stuff, but
Strong.
yeah, strong. I'm talking about she's strong. But you probably would have never done the things that you did, or did the things that you did in the past. You know what I'm saying? We probably would have never met. It probably would have been a whole nother outcome.
Different direction, obviously.
Yeah, a whole other direction, you know. But like he said, you know, we never understand the reason why people hurt us. And sometimes when people hurt us, it's because they are hurting inside.
Yeah.
And they don't know how to address the hurt. So instead of them dealing with the hurt, they try to put it on somebody else. I mean, that was an experience for me, but at this point, accept, process, move through it, heal from it. And you know, it's a brand new day for you, but what? But I mean, to just sum up everything that we're talking about tonight,
No.
ain't nobody shooting a bird. No, but like, to just thinking about everything we talked about tonight, my message for anybody going through the healing process, embrace it. It's going to hurt. It's supposed to hurt. If it didn't hurt, you wouldn't be able to humble yourself and embrace the lesson and the blessing that comes from going through the healing process, making you a better woman, making you a better man, just making you a better person, because you never know, your story might save somebody else. You know what I'm saying? Help somebody else. So you going through the healing process is definitely a blessing for someone else. It's a blessing for you, but it's a blessing for someone else.
Yeah.
Y'all got anything else?
It was a blessing for you, right?
Ooh, yes, God. Hallelujah.
I guess I'll tell Mike, because these women are quiet. Like they
Oh, we quiet.
I can go next, you know.
I'm gonna hit that.
I say I could go next.
Okay.
I'm gonna hit that brother high. Since y'all want to be quiet.
Okay. We gonna go.
We gonna go.
Okay.
I don't know what our opinions. I don't know how emotional you are. You might.
I'm very emotional. I'm big emotional, but
I'm gonna start 17, 18. I ain't gonna go too far back because I've dealt with a lot of hurt. Didn't really have a father figure in my life. I had a dad. Me and my dad don't have the greatest relationship. But he taught me several things: how to go to work, how to provide, how to be a provider for your kids, and how to be a man of your word. Around about 18, found out that the girl I was dating was pregnant, was in high school, and so I had to make some decisions. So dropped out of high school, got my GED, hit the ground working, and when I tell you I used to work like still to this day, like
stupid off.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? And I would get checks, take the checks, give it to the girl I was dating at the time, provide for the child, this, that, and the third. But you know how like time progress, you grow separate and co-parenting comes in the picture and all that good stuff. Came around about the time 21. I was 21. So I've had him in my life for like 3 years. She had a little boy. Had him in my life for about 3 years, and I was about to get married, first marriage. I'm all excited, like, yeah, I'm about to get married. Got a little son. Somebody done accepted me and the child. So, all good and gravy. Situation arose to where it was some kind of physical abuse that happened to the child. And everybody that know me knows I'm a fighter. I'm a hit first and ask questions like this. That's just been me. Yeah, And I was working in law enforcement at the time, so my anger at that time was at an all-time high. So anything just, you know what I'm saying, because I had to deal with inmates in the prison and then come out of that and having to deal with life. Get kind of hard, get kind of serious. So it came to a point to where the young lady got mad. She got upset because me and the guy had an altercation. She's like, well, take out child support on you, this, that, and the third. I was cool with it because I was like, that'll give me still the time to see my child, pick up my child, and, give me the option to take care of the responsibilities of my child. So when I did DNA test in February, around about the 19th of February, see, when you really hurt, you don't forget stuff.
Yep.
Yeah, so around about that time, and months went by. I mean, months went by. And so my mom called me. And some of my moms, like, they need to understand. I'm a commercial break. Mothers, y'all need to understand that you cannot call your child and be like, hey, we need to talk, because 9 out of 10, we're going to think that it's something going on with you.
Yeah.
To the point to where, like, the whole world has stopped.
Yeah.
And we are beelining to where. So mothers, please learn how to effectively communicate
that. Like,
with your
hey,
children.
can you stop now? You got time.
We're going to stop whatever we're doing.
Yes, literally.
Because
the first question you're going to ask, what's wrong?
I was at work. Like, I had an inmate in the chokehold, and my mom called, and I don't let the inmate go to try to figure out. I don't let the whole fight that was going on, trying to figure out what was going on. Parents, please learn how to communicate. But so mom called. She was like, "Yeah, I need you to come to the house and sit down." Now that's right about June. So come pull up. And you know what I'm saying? So I'm thinking, number one, something might be wrong with my son. I'm like, hold up, wait a minute, because then I'm like, man, my mom called me. So she got me in the room. She don't took my car keys, so I knew it was something serious. So I'm sitting there, and she was like, well, have you talked to your child's mom lately? I'm like, no, not really. I mean, what, I owe some money or something? I'm trying to figure out, because my mom was the negotiator. Sometimes you gotta have a middleman when some stuff is difficult. And she was like, well, we was at church, because they went to the same church. That's why I say people, they deal with church hurt on different levels. But they was at church, and it came out that she found out that the little boy wasn't mine.
Wow.
Now, I took the test in February. This is June.
So she pretty much.
And I've been in contact with the child mother since February.
And didn't say
Been in contact with her siblings, even her mom. And it gets even deeper because their family was apologizing to everyone on my dad's side because they are all in the same community. And not even my own family came and told me.
Wow.
Oh.
So everybody knew.
But you.
But you.
But me.
Wow.
So, I'm sitting there and, like I said, I got anger issues. I'm working on it. I mean, this is what's like 15, some years ago. And so I'm sitting there like, okay. And my mom, she was like, are you all right? Do you need to talk about it? And next thing I know, I just got up and I just walked out the house. I was headed to get myself into some trouble.
She got your keys, don't she?
I was walking.
Oh. You was
She
ain't take the leg.
If I have to go by myself.
and luckily, my grandma came. She picked me up halfway to where I was trying to get to, and she picked me up and she brought me back home. And that's just a hurt that you really can't I say that you heal from, especially when my whole life altered,
right?
Because of this little boy. Like I could have had scholarships.
You dropped everything.
I dropped everything just to take care of him, and not only that, but it's a memory because that would never fade because my nephew is his cousin.
Oh gosh.
So it's like, any other time, what I'm saying, I'm over there playing with my nephew, he could be on FaceTime with him, this, that, and third. He was like, hey, I know you. I'm like, I know you too. And I have to, dodge out the camera because, what I'm saying, that's something that, what I'm saying, you would never really heal from.
Yeah.
Like, you'll heal in the perspective of it don't hurt like it used
hurt
to.
Anymore.
It don't hit you like, God, dog.
Yeah.
But, it was tough because when you don't have a father and you have that son and you want that father-son connection, and it's like, dang, I'm going to give you what my dad didn't give me. And then all of a sudden, all that gets stripped away. So sometimes it get rough because now I got 2 girls. And I still have to be that same man that I was going to be to that son that I had. And still, at the same time, try to get that construct like, hey, I'm still a great dude, no matter what happened. Because at the end of the day, I started looking at myself like, why me? Why you chose me to be, a part of this situation? Even after knowing, because you know how the truth started to come out when everything get revealed. Oh, they didn't do that.
Yeah.
We been had this conference. We been had this. We thought you knew this and the third.
No,
you didn't.
You know what happens when you assume stuff.
Yeah.
You married.
Like, we both still thinking, but I mean, it was a process. Still processing. But I can say I'm healed from it because I can talk about it.
Yeah.
And I can talk about it without, really boo-hoo crying like I normally would. But it's still a little pain every now and then. But it's a process.
It is definitely a process. Well,
Boy.
that was a little deep session tonight, guys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Next time y'all.
Maybe next time y'all talk.
Next time.
Because
Did they just try it?
I mean, we always try to make sure you guys talk. Whatever.
that was just part 1 of my healing process.
You need some tissue, bro?
No,
It's
I'm
all right.
fine.
You all right?
Like you said, it's
all
all right. It's all right.
All these soft people use tissue.
Security.
I need a paper
Anyways.
towel.
Listen, thanks. Really? Y'all two need to be
I need a
separated.
paper towel. I don't need a
No, you need a whole towel,
Soft
a whole
people
blanket.
use
You need to
tissues.
fold it.
paper towel.
Listen, we appreciate you guys tuning in for our episode of Healing from the Past. We hope that this blessed you. We hope that you tune in the next time. But don't forget to do what, Brandon?
Like, share, comment, and subscribe to the channel.
Yeah.
All of that. Once again, I'm your girl Crystal.
I'm Ryson.
I'm John.
And I'm Brendan.
And this is
The
The
Squad.
Squad.